Hello and welcome to The Cat and the Parrot. Today, I was wondering if we could talk about the safeguarding team. Now, I'm going to use that term to start with because my first question is, there's so many acronyms. We do love an acronym in safeguarding. There's, for example, in my team, we have DSLs and DSPs, designated persons. But you earlier on were talking about a different role. You were talking, what was it, the deputy safeguarding? What was the person you were talking about?
The DDSL, the Deputy Safeguarding Lead.
Yeah. I mean, every school has it slightly different, don't they, with what the DSL team is and what the actual DSL team actually do.
Yeah. So I think I was talking about, when I said that, I've spoken to quite a lot, say 15 in the last 3 days, of safeguarding teams, SLT, as well as pastoral care safeguarding teams. And why I said that was, in these current times at the moment, we know whether, for safeguarding purposes, I mentioned the burger model. Shall I mention that?
Yeah,
You know me and my wacky self. So, this time last year, whether your burger savoury or your, and bake, could be a cake or it could be a burger, but the layer sort of syndrome of, you would have had a burger with one piece of meat, or if you're vegetarian, a non-meat version, and that would have been your safeguarding. So safeguarding lead, keeping children safe, role of the DSL, I've got a safeguarding lead, right? And in this safeguarding lead, I've got a DDSL that says that when I'm available, my DDSL, who's trained to the same level as me, will also take over this role.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the moment, this one burger has turned into 2 layers, and in relation to the COVID safeguarding challenges, to the impact of COVID, it's been a 3. Yeah. And then you've got all the other things on top of that, whether it's the inclusion, diversity, prejudice, discrimination, to the challenges, etc. So we've now got a massive high raised burger there that actually the same person has to operate and complete. Yeah. Where I'm finding in the last few days, speaking to quite a lot of safeguarding people and teams, they're getting a lot of disclosures online in the virtual kind of online learning sessions. More schools doing active online Zoomy kind of stuff in the real time, as well as pre-recorded or online stuff. Yeah. And as a result, I think the DSLs are saying we're also getting a lot of disclosures and online, i.e. via chat or in piece of work, or just generally. So that's also being chucked to the DSL. So I've mentioned to a few of them that actually in those pieces of work, you need to go back to the teacher and follow up and find out more detail. So have you thought about maybe getting your DDSL or somebody else in your team who's been, trained to that level to go to the teacher and explore further and get more detail to then come back to you? Yeah. Do it make sense? So you're cutting out that chasing time, and then you've got more facts to make the decision. I just thought it's something as simple as that, really.
I think it's interesting because I know that some schools have they have the DSL, and then they have designated persons who maybe are experts in different areas. So maybe they've trained up in domestic abuse, or, for example, I've got an e-safety person. But not all the time the cases come to you. It's quite obvious where it's going. So you might have a child that's in front of you that, they're a bit worried about their mental health. And then after about 2-3 weeks, that's when you suddenly realize it's about domestic abuse at home. And so you don't want to suddenly transfer them to another DSL because that wouldn't be good for some of the children's well-being. But then you don't want to sit there having one person hog it all, because that's not good for their well-being. So it is interesting to hear how different schools have their teams set up.
I know. But then it does say, so just remembering, Kixie does say that the DSL has to make the decision. Yeah. But one could argue someone else can go and get the information and give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that's what I picked up recently, was the DSL are all suffocating in of too much piling on, it's getting too much of the external agency referrals coming in, the Operation Encompass stuff, families, all of that. And on top of that, this has an additional bit that's quite new. Yeah. So it just made sense. And like what you said, some schools, I have got online safety officers. Yeah. Who are people who are specialist social media, online stuff. Yeah. And will chase up on that. So again, I just thought it's an interesting one that I think being flexible and understanding right now you might need to expand, you know, your kind of delegation, but on people that have been trained and you feel confident, respect and confidentiality and have the right skills, rather than the opposite of, you know, burdening. It's got to be done correctly or not done at all. So I think it's just choosing those right people, but in a way that you instruct them.
Yeah. I mean, part of my team, and it's quite rare, is my bursar. I know that not every school have bursars, but my bursar is safeguarding trained. And he goes on courses quite often, and people look at him and are a bit surprised that he is doing the DSL training. There's several reasons why I think it's really great for him to go on the course. First of all, I'm not there in the holiday time, or we have holiday camps.
True.
And we have a swimming pool that's offered to external people, not to necessarily pupils. So there has to be a safeguarding person there. Second of all, he understands when I need finances for things. He understands what's going on and the support with it. And third of all is he has to deal, I know I'm an independent school, he has to deal with finances and asking for money. And if he knows and can see the information on some of the pupils, it means that he can do a question a little bit different. If he was asking for finances for a family that are struggling, and he can also pick up on signs when he phones up and says,
debt and stuff. He
can listen to things. So for me, it's a definite win, and it means that we're working as a team. But it is interesting to hear how people have their different system set up.
I have seen that. So you're absolutely right. I've seen a few bursars in courses. I've seen a few HLTAs being trained up. I've seen a few Senkos being trained up. You know, and even office staff, like office manager. Because like what you said, who's there all day in the office in the sense of calls coming in? The office manager. So being aware, like the parent ringing in and blah, 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 to social care ringing in. So I think it's definitely important that you think about your model of your school and think about who else would be a useful person to train up. And what I'm saying to colleagues at the moment is thinking about training 3 or 4 people. We've learned through the lockdown, haven't we, that we might have 3 of the reserve, but if one goes off self-isolates, dominoes effect kicks in. Actually, it only means you're going to have, so depending on the size of your school, if you're an independent and you've got lower, you know, middle and upper, you might need to think 2 for each section, compared to a smaller school that might just need 3. Do you know? So I think it's important that has to be considered, because at the moment, we've learned in the first lockdown that was a challenge, wasn't it? But now, and I'm hoping this might be the last one, but hey ho, who knows? As far as lockdown, here's some positive stories today, I know, but we still are, the whole thing about the new coming in, we need to be thinking of, but also generally just learning from this about the structure and how we operate,
and sharing and communicating with each other. I mean, it's quite hard to have meetings where you all sit down together and talk and share the workload. That is quite hard. I found that quite hard. So it's definitely one to remind us. It's got me thinking, you're right.
And also male and female.
Oh yes, no, we've got, interestingly, we have a varied balance. We also have, I think you have to have early years, don't you? You have to have
you do.
Someone on the team that's specifically for early years. So
Mm-hmm.
within our team, we have the bursar, we have an early years, we have someone that's in charge down the prep, and then a deputy down the prep. Then we've got someone at the senior
Mm-hmm.
school, we've got a bursar, and we've got someone that's in charge of e-safety. So we've got a team of 8 in ours, and I know we're quite a big school, but we do share and balance it out. It is hard to find that right balance.
I can imagine it's quite hard. And I think also the reality of supporting them also with it as well, their emotional well-being, because that's coming up quite a lot. And I felt it this week with some of them, where some of them are really struggling. And also being at home, you know, the home is now the gym, it's now everything, the school, it's now the home life. It's now going to be a restaurant on the 14th of January. It's going to be a restaurant as well, isn't it? It's going to be that. You know what I mean? It's going to be everything. It's a lot for people. And I think gardens, no gardens, whatever it might be, there's an element there of, staff as well. Because obviously burnout and us recognising and stuff like that. So we just need to be aware of that.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that.
No problem. Speak to you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.